This is a Global Skills Podcast, conversations that shape the future of work and learning. We're exploring how we close the skills gap and build a future where everyone has the chance to thrive. From education to business, connecting people, ideas, and opportunities that drive change. It's about collaboration, curiosity, and creating real impact today. Because every skill learned brings us one step closer to a more inclusive world. The Global Skills Podcast, where learning and opportunity come together. Today on the Global Skills Podcast, we're joined by Usama Arif, a shining light among Pakistan's emerging tech leaders. A senior business development executive at BrainX Technologies, Usama has achieved over 600,000 in tech sales and earned multiple awards for excellence. He's also the founder and CEO of AIBridge, an initiative empowering young developers and bridging the gap between academia and industry. Passionate, driven, and committed to lifelong learning, Usama is a true example of skills in action and leadership with purpose. I'm delighted to have you on the Global Skills Podcast, Usama. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. It is such a pleasure to be the guest of this Global Skills podcast. Thanks for such a detailed introduction, and I'm looking forward to sharing my journey, my insights with you so that the people can get benefit out of it.
I was excited to have you on because I think that in today's age of advanced AI and the fact that early talent or younger people are finding it harder to secure work and the world of work is changing so rapidly, I thought it would be lovely to have such a successful young person onto the podcast to say what you've done since graduating. And you've recently had an experience of going back to the university that you qualified from. So maybe could you tell me a little bit about what you did your qualifications in and what has the journey been like since university?
It is about May 2022 when I graduated from UET, University of Engineering and Technology, that is considered as Pakistan's top engineering sector university, and it lies among top QS World Ranking universities too, right? So I did bachelor's in computer science from my university. You mentioned that what I did after graduation, but there is a lot that I did before graduation, and this is what I suggest my youth and to the people who are looking to get good job or to start any startup or any sort of business, right? So before my graduation, I was just thoroughly involved in learning the skills, particularly improving my interpersonal skills. Like I joined some student communities that are also called student societies. I was president of Codator, where I used to lead the team of around 70 people. And that was the platform that gave me confidence to speak in public, the managerial skills, the interpersonal skills, the leadership skills. So it was still 3 months left in my graduation when I got the job offer from BrainX Technologies. It was one of my early success thing that I could be proud of. So then after since graduation, I am part of BrainX Technologies, but it's been now 4 years. And in these 4 years, I have learned a lot, particularly when it comes to tech sales. So as you mentioned that my major and key role is coming on the top financing platforms and having the projects of clients, having thorough discussions and building the world, building the future with technology, particularly with AI, as it is the modern era of AI. Since I have been graduated from my university, I also started AIBridge, that is A for academia, I for industry, and meanwhile it is A for artificial and I for intelligence. And that is why we are here together. So it was basically my vision to bridge the academia industry gaps, or in other words, the skills gap. Because when I was an undergraduate, I did face some challenges. And when I got graduated, then I realized that what is the solution of that challenges, right? So definitely there is a big gap between academia and industry standards, right? We are far away in our curriculum, particularly in the skills.
And if I could just ask about that, because this skills gap between academia and industry, it's been growing wider and wider. And I come from a background of talent acquisition. And I think this has always been the case where traditionally, when a role opens up or a job, naturally a company feels compelled to maybe just go for someone with experience. But it's really important that we consider early talent. And you referenced the fact that you secured your job offer 3 months before you even graduated. So I'm really interested to know, how did that happen for you? What did the university put in place for you from a career development perspective, or did you do this on your own bat?
Yeah, so I did it at my own. Definitely, I owe all the credit to my university and my teachers, who are your mentors, who play a key role in your success. But definitely, the bitter reality is that our university, or most of the universities, not only in like Pakistan, but I have observed somehow in the world too, they don't have proper career placement or career counseling cells, or if they do have, they are not as per according to the industry standards. So what I did, as I mentioned, I particularly focused on my interpersonal skills. And yes, I was a sort of jack of all trades person. Like I had multiple skills: graphic design, digital marketing, web development, and some know-how of AI too, right? So I just made myself flexible so that I can have interview in multiple companies, and accordingly I should decide then which role best fits my interest or what I would love to do.
So the interpersonal skills that you've mentioned twice, and I think they're going to be very, very important as AI starts to automate, meaning that a lot of the hard skills that we've been acquiring in university, such as coding, even down to qualifying to be a lawyer, an accountant, a lot of the skill set within that are it's going to be automated. And they're saying now that soft skills will become the golden skill. How did you work out your soft skills? Because typically in an interview, when you ask someone, what are your soft skills? They'll say, well, I'm a good communicator, team player, bit impatient. And actually, there are thousands of soft skills. So, what did you do to figure out what yours were and how did you improve them?
I believe this is the topic, or the best thing that we need to discuss on, because I have seen there are two categories of students or people. One belongs to those who have just coding skills, or you can say the hard skills, the technical skills. The other one is that who just have soft skills, but they don't have that technical skills. And yes, the third category belongs to those who have both skills, but there are very few people in that third category. The reason is people either focus on their coding skills or technical skills. They just spend a lot of time in coding and all other stuff, and they don't think about, like, we have to be flexible, we have to be a good communicator, we have to be a good manager. And in other words, if someone dives into communication skills or interpersonal skills, he doesn't have that technical skills, right? So there should be a balance of both. And in today's fast changing era, particularly when since AI has involved, GPT came, then we have GPT-5 now. There are many other AI models, DeepSeek, like there are all AI just changing the era. So accordingly, AI is all about smart work. And the people today to survive also require smart work. The one who is doing the hard work, he is not going to survive. You have to be a smart worker so that you can thrive in the future. And particularly, the smart work only comes with having a specific balance and transition between both the interpersonal and the technical skills.
You raise a really good point, and I haven't heard that phrase smart work for quite some time. And you are very right when it comes to that. And I think that on the soft skill side, you referenced some experiences that you had in university that have clearly helped you in your sales, tech, and even entrepreneurial journey. If you were a young person listening to this right now, and if you were to go back a number of years and give yourself advice all over again or to others, what could they do beyond the college course to really build on their bank of soft skills?
First of all, I just say you have to just come out of books, just, spending 8 hours reading books and chasing the CGPAs and all that other stuff. You have to be a person who is open to communication, who loves to join events, who loves to join communities, who loves to interact with people, who loves to share his or her thoughts. I should answer this in this way. I define there are a lot of interpersonal soft skills, but on the top are leadership, then it comes to managerial skills, then it comes to communication skills, then it comes to negotiation skills. You should have convincing power. So these are 3 to 4 top interpersonal skills that I think I have somehow, not that best, but yes, these are the key skills in interpersonal category that help me shine or thrive in my career.
What's just popped into my head, so it's the year 2025, and probably a lot of people graduating today or have in the last year or two probably experienced the pandemic and the last few years of school. And certainly, I know young people that experience the pandemic at critical stages, that soft skill was not really developed like it normally was when society was operating as normal. So I'm just wondering, in that scenario, for those that are feeling like, okay, that's all well good, Usama, but like I don't have confidence, I don't really feel confident enough to be able to connect with others. What else can they do? Is it things like watching someone like you sharing content online or others, or what else could they do to really build that side of their skill set?
Exactly, you are absolutely correct, because those who have faced pandemic, definitely you were quite isolated, and they were in that scenario you just have hard skills or technical skills to learn, right? Because you can't come outside and you can't interact with people. I would suggest such persons or people to broaden their mind by exploring a lot of things, like maybe you can listen to news, maybe you can listen to some sort of podcast, and particularly you should chase such opportunities that give you the chance to speak. You have to just speak, you have to interact, you have to teach someone, or uh, give someone some good suggestions or anything else to improve themselves. At the end goal is, when you will talk with 2 to 3 people in a way that you are their mentor, you will definitely have some booster in your confidence, and definitely from 3 to 10, 10 to 15, 20, and in this way you can gradually like build confidence, particularly the communication skill, and confidence comes on the top. But the managerial and the leadership skills are somewhat that you need to struggle on. They come from doing multitasking. If you are used to doing the multitasking, then definitely you develop the managerial skills. And for the leadership, again, you have to search for the communities, right? If you are a student, you have to form a group of students where you interact, where you talk about the AI, talk about the future, talk about tech, you talk about business. And if you are a business person, so definitely there are some other scenarios that you have to consider. But the end goal is to have some interactions in the form of communities.
So you have done very well. You've been able to combine your tech, as you mentioned earlier on, some of the skills that you have, along with clearly the entrepreneurial, the sales side. Can you tell me what it's like now to have a successful career, having worked so hard on your educational side? And maybe if you can recall the very first win that you had, whether it was a big deal that you closed, what was that experience like?
It's been an amazing experience, because initially when I joined the job, I just used to jump on the client calls with my CEOs, with my founders, and just used to listen how the things are happening. But gradually I just learned from them. And the best deal I have just won lately was of around 15,000 USD. That is one of the client's projects. So definitely there is no shortcut to success. Like, it's been 500 plus meetings, 100,000 plus clients that I have dealt with. And you slowly, you understand how the things happen, and then you are able to come up with success one day.
And so our audience has evolved from Global Skills newsletter. We've been running now for 140 plus editions, and a lot of the readers of that come from academia, whether it's directors of curriculum, even presidents, career services. If they're listening in today, it's lovely to have a successful graduate come through and speak the way you're speaking. What message would you like to give them in terms of how things are evolving? And obviously, their focus is going to be ensuring they're teaching the most relevant skills and they're maximizing the employment potential of their graduates and alumni. What words of wisdom or advice or recommendations would you have for them?
This is the top grave challenge that the world is facing. Academia doesn't know what is happening in the industry, like to know that extent, and particularly the industry leaders who are the CEOs or the owners of different company. They were the student or undergrad ones, but sorry to say, like they don't make an attempt to change the university curriculum, or like. So I always say both the academia and industry leaders have to sit on one table, have some cross discussions. Like industry leaders must come forward and say, this is what standards we are following as per the international markets. This is the course we need to have in our academia, right? Instead of, I remember I just studied 45 to 50 subjects, right, in the 4 years of university, right? So chasing the CGPAs and all other stuff. I think so today in the industry, out of those 45 to 50 subjects, only 5 to 6 are the ones that I am utilizing in real time. And the rest of the things were just build your base or just to broaden your mind. But this is what I want the industry leaders to do. Just come forward, make the specified courses or the curriculum according to the industry demands. If you are seeing the trend in the AI, there are a lot of AI fields, Gen AI, machine learning, computer vision, right? So you have to design the particular course according to that. So the only solution is the academia and industry leaders. They should sit together, right? And they should address this challenge on one table, come up with the unified plan, and then definitely we can not only build the skills gap, but we can also progress as a society, as a country, as a nation, and as a world.
Well, you've hit the nail for the Global Skills podcast, because the whole purpose of this is really getting to the crux of how do we close the gap and leave no one behind. And I think you're right. And one thing that I'm very passionate about is how do we get everyone speaking the same skills language? Because industry is evolving so fast in these terms. And academia, unless they're working in industry and they're working very closely, it's a guessing game. But the person that suffers is the graduate or the alumni. If you were to look forward to the future now, and I don't know if you're hearing this already among peers or younger people, that it's getting harder to get called for interview when you lack experience. Are you hearing that? And what do you feel is going to happen if you were to predict in the next year or two for graduates coming through the system?
This is the grave issue. Like I receive average 1 to 2 at minimum. Like I have some juniors who still interact with me, the university undergraduates. The first challenge is they don't receive the interview call. And if they are able to receive the interview call, they are not able to make it to the second round. So definitely all the challenge is that our youth, our undergrads are not having the right direction. So definitely to address this, again, as I mentioned, our industry leaders, instead of calling for an interview, hey, we are XYZ company and we have shortlisted you for an interview. So it is much better that the CEO or the owner of that particular company at first come to the vice chancellor or the owner of that particular university and at first tell that this is the standard that we need from your graduates. These are the skills that we need, and please train your students accordingly. Then, if someone is not able to make it to the interview table or they are not able to make it to the second round, then you can question that. But in this case, I don't know why the industry's standards are here, whereas the education standards are quite down, and they just think why we are not getting that right candidates.
I was involved in a beautiful program many years ago where we would take in young people and train and develop them over only 5 days. But those 5 days were all about giving them the skills, the confidence, assessing their ability, and then lining up the interview. But what was really interesting is it got to a point where the companies had such faith and trust in our ability to assess and recommend. Eventually, they stopped looking at the CV. They just wanted to know the overall results. How did they perform? Hard skills, soft skills, performance. And I feel like, and I'd love to know your thoughts, that if academia could do a little bit more about doing that bridge to industry, and it might mean that they have to go to companies as well as the companies coming to them, but maybe building sort of academics or academies to connect the graduates rather than just educating, graduating and saying thank you, being a lifelong partner of that graduate for all the skills they need, we might be able to make that gap just a little bit smaller between education and industry. Now, you've come through the system very recently. I'd love to know, well, for your peers that were not as proactive as you, because you clearly have good communication skills, confidence, and you've taught this, but for everyone else, Do you think a solution like an academy powered by education and maybe sponsored by industry is the answer, or is there anything else more we can do for young people?
First, normally the span of the university education is 4 years. My first point is we should squeeze it to 2 or maximum 3 years at first. Then, in these 2 to 3 years, we should teach only those subjects that lie at first according to the interest of the students and then according to the exact industry demands. And the third point is there should be a middle layer that doesn't exist at all, the middle layer between the industry and the academia. That could be a career placement cell or that could be a career training cells. The undergraduate shouldn't go directly to the industry. They should go to those career cells at first. We can also say it as an academy, the pre-industry academy. They should be taught that these are the industry standards, this is the personality you need, these are the ethics, these are the demands of the industry, and then they should move to the industry for giving an interview. So these 2 to 3 points are the one that are globally acceptable and that should happen. Again, there are some universities that are doing it, but they are not doing it in that right way. So I think so this is the only solution.
Usama, that was brilliant. That was really, really great. I have a closing tradition for the podcast where I ask two questions that you only have to answer one. First question is there a skill that you have had when you were younger that you are not using now and that you'd like to start using again? And if so, what is it? Or two, for others that are graduating now this year and next year, what skills, if you were to name just one or two, do you think are fundamental for their career?
All right, so I can answer both, but I would love to answer the second one. Number one is AI. AI is the present, AI is the future everywhere of every industry, even every country. You would be not able to survive without AI by 2030 because the nations, the societies that are using AI, they are leading the world. And if you want to be the leader, if you want to earn a good job, because I'm from the tech industry, so I can only suggest from the tech side, right? But definitely AI isn't in the tech sector. It is in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, right? So you have to learn AI, and there are many fields of AI. Just sort out your interests. As I mentioned, machine learning, computer vision, deep learning, right? And alongside that, the interpersonal skills. That is the start and the end, right? You should have good interpersonal skills, communication, managerial skills, leadership skills, negotiation skills, and persuading skills. So I think so. This is your short formula to success.
And go on, Usama, just answer the first one, if you will, of the skill that you don't use anymore that you wish you did.
Okay, so my very first skill was graphic design, right? So I just love to use Adobe XD and Adobe Photoshop at that particular time. It's of about 2018 when I was a new university undergrad. So I just used to do that hobby. Later, I just realized that this is something that can pay back you too. Then I started some of the freelancing through that. Right, but yeah, graphic design is the one that I would love to do again. But no, I'm totally messed up with the business and sales.
And AI is starting to do a
Yeah,
lot of it too, isn't it? Very well. Um,
exactly. Absolutely right.
Usama, thank you so much for coming on. You've given such a fresh perspective, I think. And for any leaders or educators that are listening in, I think you're a true shining light on what can happen when we really teach young people the soft skills to be able to go and succeed. And I hope for anyone that's young or even mid-career that's not working right now and you've listened today that you really feel that there's hope and the skills to acquire are out there to be taught. There's learning online that's available and it's from free to paid, but it's not to have inertia. It's just to go out and start learning and put value on yourself because you will be needed in the capacity if you find your passion. And that's just shines through from you, Usama. So I just want to say thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. It was such a pleasure meeting you, and I wish you all the best for all of your podcasts. And I just love the vision that you are doing. And if people come up with such initiatives, definitely we are going to succeed as a nation, as a world one day. And definitely this gap that is, not only making people jobless, but we are also behind countries in the progress, right? So I hope this will work out one day, and very soon we will be just discussing the next things, right?
Amazing. Thank you, Usama, again.
Thank you very much, Vanessa.
Whether you're leading a business, shaping education, planning your next career move, or just starting out, you're part of a global conversation about how we learn, work, and grow. If you've enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe so you never miss what's next. And for early access to new episodes, first invites to events, and a chance to connect with others driving real change, join the community at globalskillspodcast.com, because the future of skills belongs to all of us.